Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, MBC Lifestyles Diary. My name is Marie. I live in New York and I love fashion, travel, and cultural events, and I'm asking you to join me on the adventure.
Our next port was Naples, Napoli, the third largest city in Italy after Milan and Rome. It's the city famous for the Baroque and the painter Caravaggio, the active volcano Mount Vesuvius, where the last eruption was in 1944, and of course, famous for the pizza. I was really excited to visit Naples. It was my first time being there. I had been frequently to Milan and Rome, so this was a new adventure for all of us. I loved how blue the sea was. I loved the buildings, and this is where I saw how hilly Italy could be. And I felt like it was a precursor to our trip to Sicily. And ironically, historically, there was a battle between Naples and Sicily and gaining authority over Sicily. Also, once again, we're reminded that the Greeks settled Italy and it was an outpost. And Naples is credited with being the blending of culture between Romans and Greeks. The city was vibrant, the architecture was very interesting, and of course, life by the water was beautiful, and there were a lot of seafood restaurants in that area. Our excursion from Royal Caribbean was basically we were spending a lot of time on the bus and having an overview of the city. I was glad to be on the air-conditioned bus because Naples is hot and hilly, and it looks a little dangerous, but it looks that way because of the buildings. They seem to also have been made from lava stones where the ash had stained the buildings, but it was beautiful. The tour took us around and we got to see the Baroque style architecture. We got to see the parks. And then we went up to the hilltop to look over the city. And our guide pointed out that from this vantage point, we could see the famous Sorrento, and we could understand that that is where, you could get across the water to Capri. It was really beautiful, but I enjoyed being in Naples because it seemed less crowded than the areas that she was pointing out to us. Also, at Naples, you're looking at Mount Vesuvius, and in that area, there is the famous city of Pompeii, where it shows what the destruction of the volcanic ash could do. So there's like figures that are frozen in their sleep. It is a big tourist attraction, but my cousins did not pick this excursion because it would require way too much walking in the hot sun, and they were very considerate of my condition. But the tour that we did get was breathtaking, was beautiful, and actually I wanted to return to Naples and walk the city. My cousin Manny was more interested in finding the famous pizza. That was a joke. Manny was very interested in the architecture, and he was inspired and awed by all that he saw. Everybody was very enthusiastic, and we did get to see some incredible vistas. Napoli is viewed as a little more dangerous than Rome or Milan. Like somebody said, you take off all your gold, don't walk with anything flashy in Naples. Why? You want to be able to go home with it, implying that you'll get robbed. But we were on a tour. Everything looked very pretty and very safe. And I just feel that they're used to giving that city a bad rap. We're looking at Mount Vesuvius in the distance, And I find it interesting that at least 6 million people live in the area that's considered the danger zone. So I don't know, that gives the Neapolitans some swag to laugh in the face of death. I don't understand it, but I think that the beauty is so much that I forgot I was in a city that was so close to an active volcano. It looks so far away, but I've heard that the last eruption had its impact in a place as far away as Istanbul, Turkey. This excursion was very relaxing. I did enjoy just sitting in the comfort of the bus and looking out at the view, but at the end they took us to a cafe so that we could get like a drink, and we immediately saw the pizzeria and went there and ordered pies. They were custom made pies with whatever you wanted on it, and this made Manny very happy. But unfortunately, our tour guide yelled at us and said, "You're not going to be able to eat it here. We're on a schedule." So we all had to carry our box of pizzas back to the port. Fortunately, there was a place, looked like a mall, where we sat down and had our pizza before boarding the ship. When we got back on the boat, I went to the coffee shop with my cousin on the promenade, and people went, to their room or wherever else they wanted to go to relax, because that evening we had dinner plans at Giovanni's, the Italian restaurant on the ship. And, we made the best of it, and the food was very good, and we enjoyed ourselves, and talked about Napoli and how incredibly beautiful it was, and what a pleasant surprise. The next day was a day at sea because we were returning back to Barcelona, and everybody kind of did their individual thing because we knew that night we were going to meet for dinner. So we had lunch in the main dining room and on our own walked around the ship. And the thing is that on this trip, I had to, one day on, one day off, in terms of I could be active, and then the next day that meant I was done for it and just relaxing. And that's what you're seeing here. And for my relaxation, I decided to walk through the casino. I considered playing roulette, but I really couldn't handle the excitement. So it was a very mellow day. I hate this shot of me climbing up the stairs, but that's how it literally felt. I'm still in recovery. I'm grateful to be on this boat and distracted, but physically, it's a lot, because I had just been through so much with the chemo. So it was a slow progress, but it was the best place to recover right here. It was so soothing. And it was really good to be with friends and family and have a wide variety of conversation and to be excited about the things we were discovering together. Today is the last day, and for part of our party, it was also the time that they started thinking about going back home. So here we are at dinner, and they're realizing their vacation is over, and the guys are trying to stay in the moment, and they're going, "Oh my gosh, this has been like 2 vacations, and you guys are going on your 3rd," because they knew we were on our way to Sicily. But there was a bright spot in that we were going to spend a day or 2 days in Barcelona. So everyone made plans for what they wanted to do again in Barcelona, what was their favorite activity. So we're back at the corner hotel. Isali's making plans to go to the beach. Farah and Donald are going back up to Tibidabo because Donald did not get to see it the first time around. And Manuel, Alex, and I are just figuring out where we're going to have dinner. because we're trying to figure out our favorite restaurant to go back to. It was rough to be back after having such sunny days, and Barcelona had been incredibly sunny. But upon our return, we did encounter some rain, but we didn't let that deter us. We went to the neighborhood restaurant for lunch. I remembered enjoying their lamb chops, so I ordered it again, and it did not disappoint. We were also thinking about we were going to meet up with the kids, that's what we called them, for dinner, and they had picked out a sushi place, which we enjoyed. And we talked about our experiences, and we acknowledged that we were going to miss their youthful presence. This is our second day in Barcelona, and the next day we would be flying out. We'd all be heading to the airport together. And, the kids would be going back to the U.S. and we'd be heading to Palermo. So Alex and I decided to take one last look at the port of Barcelona. And there is a mall there that I never got to go to. So I was like, let me go see that mega mall. And it was fine. It was on the water. They were also, Louis Vuitton was doing the America Cup. So it was set up for that. And a mall is a mall. So when you go to a mall, you could be anywhere, kind of like the airport. Everybody's doing the same design. But once you stepped out, you were very clearly in Barcelona, surrounded by water. I did enjoy my day there. It was yet another thing that I had never done on my many visits. So I knew I didn't need to do it again. But it was pleasant. They had sculptures in the water. I enjoyed looking at that. And I enjoyed getting some sun. This mall felt familiar because it reminded me of Bayside in Miami. Same concept, a mall at the port on the water with restaurants that would overlook this beautiful view. There was a large variety. If you were missing Starbucks, this is where you would go. I saw a couple of stores that I've never heard of before, but the goods were interesting. It was an experience. So that night we were having our last meal together before we went in different directions. Everyone was very much in love with Barcelona, making plans to come back. They understood that the city had much to offer, and that they had only gotten a peek at the tip, and there would be more layers to uncover. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up and remember to like, subscribe, and share.